Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Connect Up. And I'll give some people time to possibly get in. I didn't do the share thing right. So, hey, it is what it is today. As you'll see, I have a different guest in here today with me, Mr. Barton.
Hello, hello.
And so we're going to be sharing a couple of things that we want to share with you guys, but I give you time to get in here. Some of you, anyway, um, to see what's going on and just join in if you can. So I'm sharing. Give me a second. We got some other things that we've talked about before and said we will be sharing with you guys, and we will. So of course, you all know the other women that are always on here with me, my other Connect Up hosts, and they're not here with me today. Um, Other things going on, which we expect. Everybody has ministry, just other things happening in life, period. And then we have been revamping, get some other things together, and we're still doing that. We're still doing that. No doubt that's something that we're gonna keep doing. And changing locations as far as the filming goes, stuff like that, just normal stuff that we've been working on and getting together. So there we have that. Let's see if I got this right. I don't know. I tried. I didn't do my other thing the way I normally do it. So I don't know who all to get this, but I know you guys come back and listen to our shows. I know we're late jumping in here today. That's okay. We in here to chat it up for a little bit. We won't be on here long. I'm going to use it as an introductory time for me and Mr. B. And so hopefully when you guys get a chance to come back and look at it, if any of you able to get on today, because we're behind in getting on this at our normal time. So hopefully you will be able to do that. So I wish everybody else well, all my other Connect Up squad, as they're out today doing other things. So wish them well, and maybe they'll pop in the comments. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But again, I say I have Mr. B on here with me, so we're gonna take this time to talk about um, the talk that we're gonna be doing, that we're gonna be hosting, and it's called Just Us. And so, Mr. B, I wanted to kind of explain a little bit about what just us meant so everybody can grasp it. I've seen some comments on other pages about that coming along and
Right.
not really understanding this because for me, just some people think that means that we're Xing out everybody else and it's just about as if we're just alone out here.
Right.
And so there are times that you feel like that. But for me, just us encompasses our life, which includes our family. Um,
Mm.
they are a part of our just us. There's no way I don't think that you can separate that, whether it be family, children, whether it be parents, whether it be, to me, that it does encompass all of us because that makes us who we are when we're talking
Right.
about just us as far as it goes with relationships and marriages. Is that what you see or what you think, or what's
Right.
your take on that? Because I've seen some people say it's not just us. I want it to be me, my family. Oh, trust me, it will be you and your family, whether you want it to be or not. So you
Right.
bring that to the table.
Right. I agree with you. Justice includes your tribe, your
Yeah.
whole circle, your
Yeah.
immediate circle, the secondary circle, the outlayers, anybody that's connected to you, sometimes even indirectly. It's not
Right.
always through blood relationships.
Right.
We form a lot of relationships, you and I have, and we've um, adopted, and I don't mean like through a legal process, but through kinship, through shared experiences, through growth. We've
Right.
adopted a lot of people into our circle that
Right.
we feel intimate with, close
Right.
to. And we've shared their journey and they've shared our journey. And so
Exactly.
when you say just us, I hope people don't narrow it down to two people
I know you
or
can't.
one or two people. We
Right.
really mean those people that are in your tribe, of course, your immediate tribe, but uh, those outliers too. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Well, that's what my thinking is, and so I want to kind of give a heads up. If you come in, say hey to us because I don't know you're there. And we're just giving an intro about something that we're going to be doing as a couple, which I'm excited about. We do a lot of conversations with married. Hey, Grand, how are you doing? So we still do a lot of conversations with married couples. We have did marriage counseling, and we've been married now going on 34 years
Yeah.
in a few months, and we're just now saying we've talked about it over and over again, that we may need to get out there, share some nuggets, help a couple of more people, and so now that time is here. Now we're ready to do that, and so I'm just using this today because of our office with the regular connective team to just kind of share with you that that's what we're going to be doing. So I think again it's just us, and in that we share our lives, our families, the connecting, the joining together, the intertwining of the family units, and I'm excited about that. And that is inclusive again of like Big Mr. B was saying, our tribe, y'all. You don't get to. I remember learning that when we got together and decided that we were married, that I was bringing all my stuff with me.
Right.
It wasn't just me, and we had to make a hey to you guys that are coming in, say hi to us. We had to make an adjustment to that, and so we're going to be sharing about those things. We'll share some ups, we'll share some downs, we'll share how we got through many of those things over the last 34 years. And I think one of the questions that I get when I'm talking to women, because I typically deal with the women,
Mhm.
and if a man comes in the picture, I quickly send him to Mr. Parton. But one of the things that, I get a lot is like, well, how did y'all do it? Or how did you know? Or what was the thing that seemed most important to you? As we begin to get to know each other and come into the relationship. Well, one of the things I always share is that there's a couple of things, but one of them I think for me was that we didn't come into the relationship thinking marriage. Hey, Facebook user, I don't see your name. I see your wave though.
Mhm.
We didn't come into the relationship thinking marriage at all. That was not on our brain. That was not something that we didn't. So I see a lot of that now, and I don't know what's right. I just know for us, we grew, we connected, and it became what they see now. It wasn't. I know on my end. I know we talked about it, but it wasn't either one of us jumping in saying,
Right.
"Oh,
Right.
this is the one. I'm finna marry her. I'm gonna
Right.
change all my life." I didn't
Right.
change all my stuff until we actually got this done.
Right.
So um, just so FYI, I think Mr. Barton, it was that way for you as well.
Right. 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 So, it was a mutual friendship
Right,
initially when we started hanging out. And I'm saying hanging out before we even started dating.
right,
We would just sort of hang out, and from there we went to dating, and here we are going into 34 years later. But initially, like you said, we didn't enter a relationship even remotely thinking about getting married. We just
no,
wanted to hang out. We enjoyed one another's company.
right,
We had some shared things that we liked.
right.
We literally just had fun together.
We just had fun. I
It was
remember,
just fun.
and it was hilarious, and we just had fun. And I think that a lot of people they're missing the building of the relationship, and
Yeah,
you're jumping straight into the marriage, but you hadn't taken time to build it.
yeah,
And that was always important. That part was important to me too. But I heard
right.
somebody say, I was looking at something somewhere. Say, hey, if you're coming in. Again, I got a Facebook user, but I don't know who it is. But I heard somebody say that uh, two people uh that are meant to be together, but they come together at the wrong time can be
Mm,
detrimental. And
mhm.
and that reminded me of us, and how young we were when we first met in the first
Right,
place.
right, right.
So we had our little crush, but we were really young. I remember us trying to think we were gonna like each other, and then that got caught to a halt. And then
Mm,
we went for 3 years, and there was no communication, no anything. And
mm.
then we just crossed paths again out of nowhere,
Yep,
seemingly, and that's when
seemingly. Right.
seemingly, and that's when relationship itself began. The other thing that I was thinking of for me that made this relationship so strong, when I think about your role, with the relationship, was that safety was a big deal. Feeling safe was a big deal for me,
Mhm.
and feeling like somebody had my back, because I had not. I feel like I felt like I had not had that.
Right,
And so for me, as the relationship grew, you began to give me that. And that was something that I didn't have. And so that was important for me, to feel safe. So in the relationship, as we began to build, that became important. I didn't realize how important it was, or even really
right,
what I was feeling or noticing. But as
right,
I think about it, I realized that you gave me the support. I felt safe, the shield, the protection that I think I didn't have. I know I did not have, growing up, and that's not to bash my mom or my dad or anything like that, because I'm not going to go into any of those details. But
mhm.
you gave me, what God had invested in you to give me. And
Right,
so that covering, that I didn't have to go outside of you to be covered, um,
right.
to be protected, to be shielded. I didn't have to leave. I didn't have to go outside of my home for that. And
Mhm,
so when we got married, I realized now that I'm so grateful for that, because there are a lot of women that are married,
mhm,
that are looking to be married, and they don't have that shield, that covering, that
mhm,
protection in
mhm,
their home. They're having to
mhm,
go outside to get a covering,
mhm.
and they're married. I'm not talking about unmarried or single women. I'm talking about married women
Right,
that can't be covered and that have
right,
not been covered by their husbands. And
right,
so you did that for us, which definitely, or for me, which definitely changed the dynamics of our home and our family, and how we got to this point. And so
right,
for me, if somebody asked me, one of the things that was major or most important, I think I would have to say, as a mature Gabrielle, that I had to look back. I can look back now and say those things meant the world to me, because those were
right,
things that I did not have.
right, right. That's interesting that you say that. I can't honestly say that it was a conscious decision on my part.
Hmm.
Totally.
Hmm.
Now, of course, I think most men would feel like I think, this isn't a proven fact, but I think most men would feel like that they should be that covering, that protector, that buffer, But to say that I consciously all the time, set out to do that, I can't honestly say that. I think it's just it was an unconscious instinct. And
Right.
I think for those of us who love someone, whether it be a spouse or a friend, a sibling, or whomever, when you love someone, you you find those areas, or you fill in the gap in those areas where you think you should be filling in those gaps.
Right.
So that was a natural instinct, sometimes conscious, sometimes not conscious, if that
Right.
makes any sense at all.
Right. Right.
Because as we grew in love, I feel like you did the same for me. There were areas in my life where I was lacking or slacking, or needed a filler, or needed some nurturing, or some growth. And I think in my life, you were able to fill those areas. So
Right.
I think when we love someone, and we look at the whole person, we
Right.
see where there may be cracks in the armor, chinks in in
Right.
the thing, and when we really love them, they don't always have to tell us. And there are some things you just had to tell me, like, hey, Chris, I need you,
Right,
I need you to pay attention to this, or, but there are some things that I think should come natural. And I think love directs us along those paths.
right. So I know just for me that was important, and I think that's an important thing for a lot of women. We don't always hear that now. We hear all this other stuff that's at the top of the list, but I promise you, you want to feel okay or safe in your own space,
Yeah.
and that you have a place to come home to. And
Yeah.
so those are things that were important to
Can,
me.
can I say something
Um,
about that real quick?
yes,
I, you know, I say to you all the time, especially in the last couple of years, um, there are some things that we've never had to worry about in our relationship.
right,
I've never had to be concerned with um, fighting, physical fights, and
right,
the house not being taken care of, or just things of those. There are some things that people go through in life, in marriage, that I can honestly say that I haven't experienced
right,
in
right.
our house. Now I've seen some things. Now you got two humans living together now, so of course we've
So
had
we
some
had to make
disagreements.
adjustments.
Yeah, yeah. So don't get it twisted now. Like we've never had anything, because we've had plenty
Well, we
just
had
this
to make
week.
we, we had to make adjustments. I think the other thing is, as we get into, and like I said, this is just a top of the, just kind of introducing who we are,
Yeah.
as a couple, because some people, they see us and they love us, and they aspire, they love the marriage, they love whatever, but we did have to grow in some areas
Oh
ourselves,
man,
and we
yeah,
were being honest about it. But those were the things that really mattered and kept me anchored, at different times. But as you're talking about things that we didn't have to deal with, one of the things that we often talk about together is finances. That's a big
oh
issue,
yeah,
and not because we had it, it's just we didn't blow what we had.
yeah,
We actually worked together to build instead of
yeah,
tearing each other down. I was not that wife that went shopping and spending all the money and hiding clothes in the closet. No, we had
yeah,
other things we had to take care of.
yeah,
And I think when you are with the right person, and like you're saying, if you love and you're concerned, and we understand we're a team, we
yeah,
understand we're in this thing together, then I'm not causing problems in that area,
right,
because I know that's part of our family. I know that say hey ladies as you come in. I know that we need each other. I know that we're working together. I know that we're building together. I know that we're a team. And if
right,
I'm over here blowing money, or it happens sometimes the other way where it's the husband doing all this
right,
stuff too. But if
right,
I'm doing that, then I'm tearing down what we have. And I think
right,
in any marriage, if you're gonna come out of it and understand what's going on, then you have to realize that we are in this to build it together,
right,
not to beat up each other or point
right,
fingers at each other. So there are
right.
so many negatives, and there's so many things that have occurred, even in relationship, and we'll be getting into all that kind of stuff where we're talking about dealing with you having cancer, dealing with you
Mhm.
being laid out from work, dealing with me having to come out of school. Hey, Glenda Barnes, hey, dealing with me having to come out of school and not getting to go back to later, something that I always wanted to do. Dealing
Mhm.
with you working and supporting and doing everything for the family while I went back to school. Hey,
Mhm.
Apostle Cora, while I went back to school to get some things together, and how we were able to pull um all that together. And even
Mhm.
up to now, I don't even still like to talk about it, but we got a little what's that son, the son that left and didn't,
Oh, prodigal.
we got a prodigal on our hand. You know what I'm saying? Right now, and so us being able to say, hey, we have to come together, if this family is going to stay together
Right.
and do what, needs to be done. And so there have been a lot of tears, there's been a lot of laughter, but one thing has always been that we always managed to pull it back together and say,
Mhm.
this is who we are.
Mhm.
And that was on purpose. That was on purpose. And I think that's a key part of it, is
Right.
that you have to be purposeful about
Right.
what you want out that relationship.
Right. 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 And it was on purpose. And every all of us, no matter our situation in life, whether we're married or single or divorced or widowed, widower, all of us go through life's ups and downs.
Right. Right.
Okay, but those of us who choose to um, um, who choose to be married, so we're facing those things together.
Right.
And even in facing those things together, I just keep it real simple with the finances. For us, like you said, like you just brought up, we were fortunate in, now everybody's house doesn't work like this. I get it. So I'm just talking about how we did. But we were fortunate enough to where there was a lot of trust. We had one bank account, or if we had two or three bank accounts, we both had access to it and knew what was going on.
Right.
That doesn't always mean that our ideas about spending or saving or investing were always the same.
Right. Right. Right.
So, even so everything that we made came into one account, and then we had to sit down, and this is the hard part, and hash out how we were going to address financial situations as they came up.
Right.
Okay. But what that did was that forced us to have a conversation.
Yes. Yes.
It
Yes.
forced us to recognize differences.
And I
We have,
think that, because that was never interrupting you, because that's what I do, y'all. I interrupt. But that was never a time that I felt like I didn't have a voice.
yeah,
And initially, when we had the boys, I didn't work that way, and I figured out how to work from home and do certain things later.
right.
But that you never made me feel like I didn't have a voice. So, like Apostle Corey said, be purposeful about what you want out of the relationship. And I
Mhm.
think that's very important.
Right,
We gotta be on purpose about this and
right,
know what we want. And that reminds me, I remember when we had a situation going on. I've shared this before, that I kept rehashing and rehashing. Whether I did with you or God, I was just on one. And I remember, it coming to me saying, you're gonna get what you want out of this. Whatever you want out of this is what you're
right,
gonna do. You can live over here in
right,
the desert, or you can live over here in the land of plenty. But it's gonna be up to you what
right,
you want this to be. So you get to choose how
right,
you want your relationship to be. And I
right,
want to make sure that every woman and every man hears that you get to choose what you want out of that relationship. And then once you make a choice,
right.
you purposefully make efforts to get to that.
To
And we
get to
gotta have
that.
trust, and to trust each other that we're actually working together
Hmm.
to get there. It's not
Hmm.
working against each other.
Right,
And so when we say just us,
right,
yeah, it is about us, but we
right,
also had to incorporate what role would our families play
right,
in our relationship. What would be the boundaries for that? What,
right.
how far is far enough and no further? Because I know now, like my mama is very bossy like me, like, you know what I'm saying. And just being honest, my mama love her dearly. Anybody that knows her, if Glenda Barnes is still on here, she can be very bossy and can run your family. She ran several in ours, okay. And that's just her personality,
Right.
so I had to have a whole different mindset to say, but this is what I want over here.
Hmm.
And I think, like I said before, you providing what God has placed in you to provide, the safety, the security,
Right.
the support, the care, and all that allowed me to put those boundaries in place. I didn't feel like I had to run home to
Right.
vent about all this stuff, because
Right.
we were
Right.
literally working together.
We were
And
working together.
understanding we both had a voice, and
Right.
our voices were equal weight, and
Right.
that was everything. That was
Right.
everything. So
Right. And so you saying that, and you saying that, just reading some of the comments, it was a challenge for both of us. I, you know, I want to say this in I don't want to offend anybody, but sometimes we as men, and I know my concept and my ideologies when I was a young man, was it wasn't about communication, so to speak.
right,
We communicated, but I felt like that I had to adjust and learn because I didn't want to lose you.
right,
I respected your intelligence. So I had to be open and willing to say, hey, listen, what do you think? And not just to hear you recite something or repeat something, but to, like in a boardroom, to take that idea or honestly and
right,
say, hey, listen, this is, you know what, you're right about that. Maybe we should go in that direction, or maybe
right,
we should do it that way. So it
right,
wasn't just that you were talking, it was a purpose behind your
right,
me listening, and I had to really grow into that. I think all of us do, especially
Right,
when we're coming together with another person.
right,
Because
right,
when you're used to doing things on your own, you're it. Everything comes through you. You
right,
the, you're the sole unilateral decision maker. But when you're in a marriage or you're in a relationship, it's not unilateral anymore. It's a bilateral thing, and
right,
it's not gonna always be my idea that pushes us forward or that we go forward with. And I'm
right,
saying that that's in every area of your life.
right,
And
right,
so what it forced me to do, I thought I could communicate until I got married. Then I found out that I needed a lot of work on my communication skills because me talking is one thing, but me actually talking and listening and processing the information and
right,
then us together moving forward, no matter whose idea or decision it was,
right,
once we broke the huddle, so to speak, that was it. That was the decision. You
right,
know, we're gonna
right,
do
right,
everything in our power to make whatever decision we came up
right,
with work.
right, right.
And if it didn't work, well, we both bear we bear equal blame for it.
We had to come back together and figure that out and keep it
Yeah.
moving and not pointing fingers at one another. And I remember because I'm your I think I'm just miscommunicated, okay? That's just my dang thing. I think I'm good, probably ain't as good as I think I am. But I remember um that was a major adjustment that you had to make,
Yes, I did.
and you had to you had to walk that line on that because I love communicating and I love to be heard, and I didn't come in as somebody that thought I was less than or thought that I didn't have a voice. My
Right.
plan was to always to be by myself and have my own voice unilateral,
Right.
so whatever. So I had to make adjustments with you being in the home to know that I was not my mama.
Right.
And I have a husband that I've got to work together with if we're gonna get things done.
Right.
Um, no, Apostle Corey, we need to work on our communication skills.
Yeah.
We always do have to work
I'm,
on
s-
them. I'm telling
and I'm
you,
still a work in progress.
we have to work on that. That's for sure, and we have to make those adjustments
Yeah.
if we're going to last. And I think sometimes we think that this is the person I married, and this would be the person. This person would be this way all the time, but that's not true. We change, we grow, we
Mhm.
adjust, and you've got to be able to do that with one another. I don't know. If we would be sitting here today, if I tried to keep you in a hole, and definitely, Lord God knows, if
Yeah.
you tried to keep me in one, that just
Right.
wouldn't have worked for the both of us, And
Right.
thank you, Apostle Cora. I love this. It wouldn't have worked for it would not have worked. And that's just honest conversation.
Right.
That sometimes I think we're not having. Like, if you think that I married you at 21, 22, 23, 24, and I'm gonna be there at 55 and 60,
Right.
you
Right.
are sadly mistaken because life
Mm.
happens and it
Right.
changes us. And so just us that we're going to start doing and just sharing our hearts and bringing up certain subjects or experiences and things that we have dealt with will be what it's about. And as you heard me mention my mom, you will hear about our family, some of the roles they even played with some of the decisions that we made as we went through our marriage. There were some things that we liked, and I tell my son to this day, you know, what did you like about being in the home with us? What do you want to change? Because I think that every generation there's something about what may have occurred in your home that you
Mhm.
don't want to bring into your home, like the
Mhm.
home that you're building. And then there are a lot of things that we do that we took away from our home that made us who we are.
Right.
And we have to be able to say whether it was good, bad, and different. It
Right.
played a role in who we became.
Right.
And so here, hence, when we say just us, we're encompassing all of that. That helps you to understand who we are as Chris and Gabrielle. That you see that, and everybody's used to Chris and Tammy, but I changed mine to Gabrielle. Um, you're used to sitting out of shell and dealing with us that way. So we're going to be doing a lot of talk about that and expressing and hopefully helping other couples that decide that they want to tune in and be a part of those conversations. But I am very open and honest about things that I do decide to share. There are things I will not share, but when I do, I'm open and honest about those
Mhm.
things, and we're comfortable enough now within ourselves to be able to do that.
Right.
So Mr. Barton still like to be a man of few words. And so, but
You said
anyway,
it all.
I'm always saying something out. But anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. I'm not sure the days. It may be, I don't know if it's Thursday evenings that we're going to do that. But we want to take the time to come on our Connect Up network or whatever and share one of the things that we'll be doing on Connect Up TV, and that will be just us. And we will be sharing some stuff you may be comfortable with hearing, some stuff you may not, but it'll all be honest.
Mhm.
And we'll be sharing with you guys, and some of it'll be fun because we've had a good marriage. It's been fun. We've had some hard times. I'm not saying that, but God has kept us.
Mhm.
And we are still here through sickness, through almost death, through fun times, through exhilarating times, through hard times,
Yeah.
but we are still here. And I know we talk about this sometimes, Mr. B, that there are couples that we know that got married when we got married, and they're not, they're
Yeah.
divorced.
They
That got married around the same time that they just didn't make it,
yeah, it
But
just didn't work out.
we're here, and we
Mhm.
are so thankful for it. And I think we're here we're full of knowledge that God has blessed us with.
Mhm.
We're full of wisdom that He has blessed us with, and now we're at a point where we're saying, we have been married 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've been married a while, and there's some
Mhm.
that length of marriage. You got to come away with some nuggets
Mhm.
and understanding what God has done for you and what He's blessed you with, and the maturity that comes from that. So
Right.
again, I want to say, Mr. B, you have anything else you want to say, or
No, ma'am. Just looking forward to it.
okay?
Just looking forward to it.
So that's all we have for today. Short and sweet. Just an introductory for Chris and Gabrielle for Just Us. And you guys look for that. Sometimes it may be us traveling that we're sharing with you guys. It may be because we love doing that, and we're
Mhm.
planning on next year already talking about a couples retreat that we're doing, our trip that we're doing, and we're looking at that being in Hawaii. So hopefully some people can jump on board and make that trip. But you have your own schedules. You can do your own thing, but we'll meet up for dinner or something crazy like that. But
Mhm.
everybody has the ability to choose what they want to do. So jump on board with us. Join in with us. If you're one of those that believes in marriage and the covenant the way that it has been meant to be,
Mhm.
then we want you in that room with us. We want to hear from you. And we want to have us all marching forward as a family, as families should, and not fighting each other, which we see a lot of now. So
Mhm.
again, love you guys. You all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.
Have a good rest
Thank
of your
you,
day.
thank you, thank you, thank you for joining in, tuning in, and